Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, and I am so excited to have another conversation lined up for you for this week. Today we have Gina with us, and I have to tell you, I met Gina over the course of, I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks. We were attending a RRT educational program together, and this program, I have to tell you, was so impactful and so powerful for both of us, and it was just kind of mind-blowing. So I just fell in love with her energy. I fell in love with how dynamic she is, and we started chit-chatting on the IG, and we exchanged some manifesting ideas and some things. Both of us had our minds blown by each other's concepts and topics. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get you on the podcast. We have to have a conversation together so that everybody can glean the wisdom of all the things that start to emerge when we start having a conversation. So Gina, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Woohoo. Okay. So I ask everybody the same question when we start our conversations. So for those of you who know you or may not know you and are just getting to know you, what is something that not everybody might know about you?
That's a good question because I'm kind of an open book. So that's a challenge. I bet that people don't know. I used to be a massage therapist for celebrities when I lived in LA.
What? That is so cool.
It was my first manifesting dream come true.
Oh my gosh. That is so awesome. Okay. So who was the coolest person that you ever worked with for that?
Okay. So massage therapists have to follow HIPAA. So
yeah.
I feel like I can say, I think I give hint. And honestly, I don't think this person cares. Like I gave her a massage.
Yeah.
I'm not telling the details of what happened in the massage, but she wore a meat suit one time.
Yes.
So.
Cool. Oh, wow. So is she as lovely in person?
Lovely.
As she is in interviews and everything?
So nice. She made me a fruit plate and coffee. Like she offered it for me and I'm like, thanks. Thank you.
That is so awesome.
She was so nice. And can I say, like, I actually got called there to massage her assistant. And I was doing that and I'm in her wardrobe room. So it was like a regular room, but it was for her wardrobe, like the heel, like everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Really early in the morning, like 9 o'clock. Yeah. Not that early. But then she woke up and I could hear her walking through the halls and she started singing.
Cool.
Now I guess I'm getting into the details of like, I don't think that's a big deal. She's a singer. And then she called her mom first thing. And I was like, oh, what a good girl. Like, I just love it. And that's all I'll say. But like, she was beyond lovely. So nice.
Oh, that is so exciting. Okay. So I heard you say, this is the first thing I manifested, like the first big thing that I manifested. So let's talk about manifesting, because I know that's a really big topic. I mean, so many people want to manifest their dream life and they want to manifest and align into what it is that they think that they want. So share with us kind of your journey into figuring out like, hey, I want to manifest this, and how the heck do you do that?
Okay. It started like, I was in my late 20s. It started with like caring more about my dreams than what everybody else would think and who I was going to upset and disappoint by following this desire that's been in my heart since I was a little girl. Yeah. Like, I watched Gem and the Holograms, which I'm pretty sure was a cartoon based in LA looks, LA gear. Like I was all about LA from a young age. I didn't know what LA was. I just saw the palm trees in the streets and was like, what a magical place. Like I want to go there. And then there's like Pretty Woman and the guy that's like, what's your dream?
Yeah.
And I never was one that like thought I could follow my dreams, but The Secret had been out for like 2 years. Oh, I gotta say, you just never know how you're being guided like before I even knew that I wanted to be a massage therapist in LA, I had gone for a Thai massage certification, and the woman had an iPod. So that's how long ago this was. And she accidentally started playing the iPod for like 7 seconds. And I was like, what is that? What is this person saying? Like,
yeah.
7 seconds was all I needed to be like, what is that? And it was Esther Hicks.
Yes.
And she was like, you don't know about Abraham Hicks? And I was like, no, what is this? And she like downloaded like 30 hours of material onto my iPod. So I consumed it. I was like, what's the radio? Like, it was just all I listened to. And they got me believing in myself.
Oh, good.
And thinking, it wasn't even just believing in myself, but it was this idea that like wealthy people, famous people, people who are just experts at their craft, they're not more special than you.
Mm-hmm.
They just believe in themselves. They follow their dreams. They're doing this thing. They have a mindset that maybe you don't have yet. And I was like, I could just change my mindset and like have all those things. So I started walking on that path. And then eventually I had been broken up with somebody, but just trying to heal from it. And I was just wanting to be in a significant relationship so badly. Like I just wanted to be in love. I finally just started thinking like, what couldn't I do if I had what I wanted? Like if I was in a committed relationship here in Kansas City, what would I not be able to do? Right. It was like, I would not be able to up and leave and go start another career in a totally different place. So I did that.
Ooh, nice.
It was like, instead of being stuck here, do something with it. Like use the problem for the solution.
Yeah.
Where that came from. I mean, it was just manifesting, alignment. Like I didn't know how to consciously and purposely do it. I was just trying.
Right. Oh, that's exciting.
And so I moved out there like January. I left here January 1st, got there January 3rd. And by my records, I'm pretty sure I was at her hotel room within 8 months. So this did not. And by the way, from here, from my small town, even I lived in the city at the time, from small town, everybody told me, you're not going to make it. You'll be back. It's so hard out there. You know, massage therapists only make $12 an hour out there. I'm like, bullshit. Can I cuss?
Yes.
I don't think so. How do you know? Are you sure? Like, you know, it was just people, something about what I was doing was threatening them.
Yep.
The people will come out to want to keep you small and keep you safe, because when we follow our dreams, it threatens them somehow that they're not doing theirs. It just shines that light.
Yep.
And so I did it, and I kept getting these little signs along the way. Like, do you know the band, the Toadies?
Yes.
I went to a show that they were local out here, and my friend is just that girl who like is so fun, and she just knows people. So she's like friends with the lead singer. And we went on their tour bus after.
Oh,
and
cool.
At the time. And I was like, I want to move out there. I'm planning to move out there in like 6 weeks. And I just was like, he was like, oh, what do you do? Massage therapist. And he was like, oh, my neck. And I was like, I'll massage you right now. So I'm like sitting up on their window thing and like just doing like little stuff, but it would just made me feel like I've already massaged a celebrity.
Right? Ooh, so good.
Breadcrumb, like I can do this. This is possible. It's already happening and I'm not even there.
Yeah.
And so I just sold everything I owned, broke my parents' heart, and moved. But like they had both had cancer earlier on. And I just felt like they're happy, or they're healthy now. Everybody's happy. Like I could follow this dream, and I could probably be back before anything tragic happens.
Right.
Which is exactly what happened. Like I just knew I'm going to go do this. And I was there for about 4 years, because once I achieved the dream, it was like, okay, now I'm kind of like getting the significance off this thing. And like, I want my own significance. Right. I'm just as significant as these celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do something else. Like I got that. I've proven that I can do this or whatever. I've proven it to myself that like a girl from Green Valley can move to Los Angeles and end up with meat suit singer like giving them a massage, you know, like that's how anything is possible. If I could do that, anything's possible for anybody.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so Raina Odell was on my podcast earlier, and she talked about how she hit top 10 for Beachbody coaches. Like that is like the elite top 10. That is the creme de la creme. That is like what every Beachbody coach strives for. So she did it. She's like, oh my God, this is amazing. After all the fanfare was done, she came home and then she's like, and now I got to go into the yard and pick up dog poop. And she's just like, really? Like, where? And yeah. And then she was like, okay, now what? Like, seriously? And I think often when we look at our life and we're like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like I wanted to publish a book. I published 7. After the first time, I was like, oh, that's good. But now what? Like, and it felt like, okay, why did I feel like this was it? Like this was the big to do. Like this was the big thing that I was meant to do. And then I do it. And then I'm like, okay, really? Is that it? Like now what? And yeah, that whole, I want to reach significance for my own self and in my own merit, in my own right, and in my own way. And so I think a lot of it has to do with mindset. And one of the things that I heard you say earlier was that when you learned, you know, manifesting, it's really all about mindset and shifting that. Share us like, what did you go through like mindset wise for that shift? Because I know for me, that was like the hardest part. And that literally took me over a decade to kind of rip my ego away from my spirit self and my intuition to stop having that mindset be so hard. And like, you have to do this and like, like that rigid structured mindset of you have to check all the boxes in order to do the thing. Yeah. And trying to figure out the how, where that's the universe's job. But I was so fixed on that. So share that journey that you had when you realized, oh my God, it's just mindset, to the point where all of a sudden you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to sell all my shit and leave.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I wouldn't have known how to strategize that. I just knew it's like that dumb luck. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so it's like the fool's journey, you know, you have to be willing to like be the fool. And I was, and it didn't just happen. Like I definitely had to make some moves on my own and like make it happen. Like the woman who eventually sent me there had canceled my interview twice. And the third time I just went. Instead of confirming, I just went and was like, are we still on? And she wanted to cancel. I go, oh, well, I'm already here. And she was like, come in. Like, she was so annoyed. Fine, I'll interview you. But I wanted that job. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that's just what came up. What did you ask me?
Well, that's okay. Well, it's about the kind of that internal stuff that you went through to shift your mindset. But I think sometimes what we don't know helps us, because oh my God, I'm like a voracious reader. And I think I had too much stuff and I had too many facts, too many people telling me what to do, where you just felt it and you're like, I need to do this. Like this, there's no other option. I will do this. So,
but if I had listened to what everybody else, their opinions, I would have never gone. They would have scared me, put the fear in me, kept me small, put me in the box.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just my personality. I just tend to be tenacious, and only when I really want something though. I'm not like that about everything. I just, when I really want something, I just go get it. And I don't know if that's part of my human design. I don't know if you know about that.
I'm a manifesting generator. That's all I know. I know nothing else about human design.
I was going to ask if you were a Manny Gen, because they're the types that I believe, I'm not an expert, but I know some things that are like, I want to do this. Okay, that was fun. I want to go do this now. Let me learn all about that. Okay, that was cool. I did that. And you're on to the next, but that's your design. And some people would shame themselves for that. Like, oh, I should just stay the course and stick with one thing. And it's like, no, you're not designed to do that.
No. I'm not you. My spirit animal is a squirrel, I swear. Look at that.
I'm kind of the same way, but I am a generator, a 2-4 generator.
I love it. Okay. So you've manifested a lot of stuff. I follow you on Instagram. I see your stories. I've listened to your story. It's just absolutely incredible. But share with us something that you were trying to manifest that maybe you didn't get, or it came in a completely different way that you were kind of blindsided about how you got that thing.
It came in a different way. Well, okay. There was the time I got $23,000 and I didn't even know I had manifested it for like 6 months. I don't.
Okay, that's
it didn't come the way I thought it would at all. And later I kept asking, like, I've been wanting to manifest like tens of thousands of dollars for a lot, like just that lump sum, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, I've been writing myself fake $10,000 checks and just doing all the things. And finally I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I just don't really but I still wanted it, but I was just done trying so hard, which I believe you said was from the last podcast was like when it all shows up, when you stop.
Surrender, yes.
And I was doing my manifesting processes and journaling about it one day. And then I was like, wait, so during the first part of 2020, well, middle 2020, Bitcoin was going up and up and up and up. And somebody in my family had done very, very well. And they decided to split it up between 3 people. I hate beating around the bush. Like I said, I'm an open book. It was my dad. Okay. Yeah. So my dad was doing okay, good in Bitcoin. He invested a bunch of money and he decided to split it 3 ways between me, my brother, and him. Mm-hmm. And so he transferred the money to my name. So in my name, I had that much Bitcoin. I don't right now, but it'll go back up. So there you go. I got $23,000. And had I wanted to go, I'm in the long game with Bitcoin. So there's no way I was going to cash that out. But if I wanted to, and if I was going to be more short-sighted, I could have gone and cashed that out, paid the taxes on it, and I would have $23,000 in my hand or whatever it is after taxes.
Yeah.
It didn't show up in the form of a check and I really thought it would be somebody's going to pay me this much for something, or it'll add up to that. And that's the only way I could see it happening. Yeah. And by the way, my dad's alive. A lot of people think we only get money like that from our parents when there's like an inheritance situation. If we ask for that much, but there's this fear of like, am I going to kill them with my desire for more? And it's like, no, that's no. So I got everything. I got the money and I still have my dad.
Oh my God, I love that. Well, you know, ironically that you mentioned about people dying. So my mom passed away when I was 12 from a car accident. And when she passed away, she had like 5 insurance policies. Like she was an insurance agent. So she had like a shit ton of insurance policies. Yeah. So my dad was able to pay off the house, remodel the house. We were able to go on an actual vacation for the first time ever. Like we went to Chicago one time to visit a great aunt. And then we went up to the cabin, but and it wasn't even my dad's cabin. It was his best friend's cabin. So it was like, we never really went on like a true vacation. So the windfall, unfortunately, that my dad received after my mom passed away was like this huge, chunk of money. And so I didn't realize that anytime I wanted to manifest large sums of money, I associated it with someone dying. So I had all these qualifiers and disclaimers was, okay, source, universe, peeps, whatever, whoever, I want this much money, but I don't want anybody to die. And I had all these qualifiers and disclaimers. So did it happen? Absolutely not. And when it did, it was just little tiny chunks. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? And finally, I had a spiritual mentor of mine. We were talking and all of a sudden it just clicked. And I was like, oh, that this legit is rooted in my dad getting a windfall for my mom passing away. And so I'm like, oh my God, and it was just, and so I really had to release that. And just the knowing, just having that clarity of knowing was huge. And that released that fear. Now, yes, I did do some RRT about it. I did some tapping about it, but allowing myself to really just clear it was just, it was massive. It was massive because I no longer had those qualifiers or those, disclaimers. Because so many times, this because you teach this, and, so many times when somebody tries to manifest something, they're not just in that space of surrender. They're in that space of, okay, I want this, but it has to come this way.
Yeah. And on this day, looking just like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've done your whole job, universe. Just give it to me.
Yes, exactly. And we don't need to worry about the how, and you have to surrender the how. Like you have to surrender that. So share with us some things that you've experienced in surrendering the how and just trusting that end result is going to come some way, somehow, like maybe your trip that you manifested.
The Italy?
Yeah. Or something else. I just love that story about the trip.
Was it the trip about how I saved the story about how I saved the $10,000? Did I tell that?
Yes.
Oh, so, okay. That must've been when we were chatting. Cause I'm like, did I tell you? Okay. So I have a 7-step manifesting process because I retraced, how did I do that and when I did it in LA, like there's a way to consciously, purposely do this. Mm-hmm. So let's dissect my process and make it become a process. Uh-huh. So, okay. We booked our trip through Costco, called to like, make sure it was still we're going to lock in some dates and like really get this dialed in. I'm going to just say the numbers because I'm not ashamed of them. And I just feel like not talking about money is something that got set up years and years ago to actually keep people more separate and down more. Okay. So We're on the same page about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So I called on the phone. We're going to go to Rome, go to Sorrento, first class. I set a standard in my 20s when I fly to Europe, it will be first class. I'm not even looking at the other tickets. Like I need to lay down.
Yes.
For a 10-hour flight.
That leg sucks.
Yeah. And by the way, I would have wasted the first day or two of my trip being uncomfortable, sore, pissed off probably, and jet lagged. So totally a good investment. So I call them, we get it all set up. I'm like, this is great. I'm going to just call my husband real quick, verify it with him, and I'll call back. Mm-hmm. And I had everything written down because you don't get the same agents. Called him. He was like, yep, sounds good. Book it. Oh, did I say it was $13,000?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. So it was $13,000 on that phone call. Mm-hmm. Talked to him, did a couple things. Let me call them back. It was 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And they did everything I told them to do, made sure. I go, why is it so much less than it was before on the first call? Because it was like 15,000. They go, well, we switched you from Delta to American. Because I guess it's like less costly. Delta's like the elite, whatever. Mm-hmm. So told them, make sure it's on American, so I like got the like lowest price, and they were like, okay, that's going to be $26,000 or 27, whatever it was. I mean, the price had like more than doubled. I was like, what? How is that possible? I just called 45 minutes ago and was quoted 13,000. They're like, well, let me see. And what just happened? And 7 people from Philadelphia had just booked that flight to Italy. So it made the price go up drastically.
Dang.
Like, drastically. And I was like, okay, well, we got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to go. But then it was like, when you're programmed in the good way, the mindset kicks in and it's like, no, this is just an obstacle. You're still going. Guess what? Maybe it'll even be better the way you're going to figure this out.
Yes.
So I knew that it could be less because I would have never, now I will. I wouldn't have had the guts to be like, make it lower.
Right.
We got to get a better price. I know it can go lower because I had just had it. So they were like, okay. So they do all these things. While she's doing those things, I'm doing my 7-step process. I'm doing some energy clearing statements. I'm thinking about how it serves everybody else in the world for me to get this deal, or maybe not everybody in the world, but how it serves other people. So it's not just me, I need this. This is going to be good for people because, and you just make it up really.
Yep. Yeah.
But totally possible scenarios. Oh, when I get on this trip, the person who would have had that seat is going to get on another plane and they're going to meet their soulmate because of that, or the person that gives them a dream job or whatever. So I'm doing all this and they get it down to 15,000. And I was like, that is so good. You're doing such a good job. Keep going.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, just pay the money.
Right.
We're on the phone for like an hour and a half, still doing the process, encouraging them. You're doing such a great job. I really appreciate this. I'm being thankful for the trip. Anyway, I'm doing the whole process. Turns out we got the trip for $12,600, $400 than the original price. So I was like, book it.
Oh my gosh. So that you saved like, what is that? $14,000 from the 26,000 that they like quoted you?
Yes.
That's huge.
400 from the original, or 300 or 400. I don't remember the exact numbers now, but from the original quote, which we were very happy with.
Oh.
It did end up turning out even better than I thought. And I know it was because of that process I was doing while I was on the phone. And then the determination of it can go lower. I know it can go lower.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. So this reminds me of a poem called I Bargained with Life for a Penny. I'm going to read it to you. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life would have willingly paid. And that is by Jesse Rittenhouse. I love that you were like, nope, Isn't that great?
I have goosebumps like down to my legs. I'm like, wow, that is so good.
Oh, and
I've heard that in so many ways.
Yes. And like every time I'm walking and I see a penny, I'm like, yes, I love this. I love this. And you know what? I don't pick it up because I know there's a dime or a nickel or a quarter or a $20 bill or $100 bill that is on the way that I'm just like, yep, I'm not bargaining for a penny. Nope. I want more. I want more. I loved how you're like, nope, keep going. Keep going.
Appreciate what you're doing. You're doing so good.
Yes.
You can do better.
Okay, so speaking of appreciation, because I know literally that is the tipping point of everything. Every wealthy person that I know that makes 7 figures or more, I ask, what is your secret? They say appreciation. Appreciation for everything, not just the good, but the bad, what we deem as bad, because literally nothing has meaning. It just is. We attach meaning to it. And so if we appreciate, then literally the world is our oyster, because that truly is the ultimate surrender, is just appreciate this situation in this moment for what it is.
Yeah. Huge. Exhale.
Huge. So one of the things that I know you and I talked about that kind of blew both of our minds was the ladder experiment.
Yeah, I really ran with that.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Well, as we were talking about, manifesting and all this stuff, I'm like, oh my God, because, you and I were both, kind of sharing our manifesting stories and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Neville Goddard's ladder exercise is just epic. And you're like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so for those of you who don't know what the ladder exercise is, Google it, like go to YouTube and like search for it. But just to kind of save time, Neville Goddard is a spiritual mystic and teacher, and he teaches the law of attraction without actually calling it the law of attraction. But essentially what he would do is he would only teach students who climbed a ladder. And there's an experiment online that you can do. And once you do this mind thought experiment, within 3 days, if done correctly and completely surrendered to it, you will climb a ladder. If you don't climb a ladder within 3 days, just allow yourself to look at, how did I not surrender to this space? How did I not surrender to this experiment? And I got to tell you, every time I've done this ladder experiment, I've climbed a ladder. Sometimes, usually it's like less than 24 hours, usually within 12 hours. It's epic. It's so epic.
It is. I was excited when you shared that with me because I really wanted to like prove that it worked, even though it's been proven, but like just for myself. And that third day, my dad asked me, he said, I got a favor for you. And I was like, what is it? He goes, well, Travis can do. Oh, this is kind of a funny manifestation story. He goes, well, Travis can do it. That's my husband. He was in the back seat at the time. And he goes, I got this thing, something in the gutter. I need you to just get up and take a picture of the gutter. And I go, on a ladder? He goes, yeah, because I'm not supposed to get up on ladders anymore. And he goes, but Travis can do it. I go, no, that ladder's mine. I'm climbing that. I'll do it for you, Dad. And he was kind of like, you've never been so excited to do chores around my yard before. And it was like, I could see how that was like, it was presented and it's like, it's yours for the taking, or you can just let it pass you by. Opportunities are always coming up and you can take it or you can let it pass you by.
Yes, I love that. Well, and that's just the thing. It's like so many people think, when the hell am I going to have the opportunity to climb a ladder? Like, I don't even own a ladder. There you go. Your parents might call you. Your neighbor might be like, hey, knock on your door. Hello, can you help? Because I got a sprained ankle or something. I can't climb my ladder. But it's like
people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I love how you said that it literally presents itself in a way, and you can choose. That's the key thing. You have the choice to say yes or to let it pass you by.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And at work too, I had 2 people tag me in photos because I did a manifestation game with the ladder and just kind of taught people the principle. And I loved it. People were sending me ladders. So now here I am talking about ladders and seeing people's ladders. I climbed 3 more ladders over the next couple of weeks. 2 more or maybe it was only 2 more at my dad's. And then I guess at my mom's. And I'm like, wow, I'm manifesting climbing ladder. Like I can't stop it. I've unlocked the flow. I'm abundant in ladder climbing.
Yes. I love that. Well, so the significance of a ladder is it's just a freaking ladder. It's climbing up a ladder and it's meaningless. It's literally climbing up a ladder. And the thing is, again, that's meaningless. So is everything else in life.
So is money.
Yeah. Yes. Money's meaningless. We give it meaning because of the significance that it holds in our society. And we think manifesting $1,000 or $50,000 or $1 million is harder than manifesting climbing a ladder. And that's not the case.
No,
it's not the case.
The mindset. And so I think, wow, if I can do that so fast, but you know what, now that I think about it, have I visualized the receiving of the money?
Right.
In the way that I did the ladder? No. But now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, I should do it with money. That was always the plan, but I'm pretty secure with the money thing. But like, I'm always ready for more money to do more things.
So what do you think is the number one thing that holds people back from aligning and manifesting to that dream life that they've always wanted?
Fear of what everybody else will think.
Ooh, yeah.
A couple of things. That's one of the first things that comes to my mind. Even like girls in the group that I teach, we have a private Facebook group. There's less than 20 people in the group. Mm-hmm. Like we made vision boards. Post your vision board. I want to see it and do like an audit on it.
Yeah.
Tell you if it's like actually one that will work, because there's a way to say things and there's just like a way to make it actually work better than randomly sticking photos on a cardboard piece of paper. And they were like, oh, like you want me to post my vision? Like they got all kind of scared and fearful of what everybody else would think of it, even though it's less than 20 people and we're all in there for the same thing. And it would brought up this like insecurity. And I used to be afraid to show my vision board because it's like, well, if I'm asking for $6,000 a month, people will know that I'm not making that yet.
Right.
Or they'll be like, that's your big dream. You want to manifest six, like, why aren't you asking for more if you're so abundant or whatever? And it's just those thoughts of like how everybody else will tear apart what I want. And then finance, like, it's none of their business. This is my life and my vision, and this is what I want. Right. So yeah, $6,000 a month would make me really freaking happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'll make a new vision board with more money on it. But
exactly. Exactly.
That's a good life.
Yes. Well, and the thing is that, you could be getting dividends, you could be getting interest, you could be getting royalties. So people really don't know at the end of the day, how much you're actually bringing in each month, because hello, you got $20,000 from your dad. Boom. You're just like, oh shit. All right, peeps, keep it coming, Yeah.
And nobody really knows about that. I don't, and I even have some other investments that I don't necessarily think about. So when I can step back, I can be like, whoa, I have a net worth of tens of thousands of dollars. And I didn't know that I would ever be that person.
Yep. Yeah. And it's like, so often people judge, and judging is one of the ways that gets in the way of manifesting, because it blocks that surrender. It blocks that appreciation for everything, because you can't appreciate something and judge it at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And so what would you share with people that are judgy, that do feel themselves like they look at someone and instantly judge based on what they see, what they think they know about the person, how they smell, whether it's good or bad, like all the things.
Okay. We all know about the law of attraction, right? Like that's the secret and all that. Like people think that that's the only law to manifesting, but there's a lot of them. And there's one called the universal law of mirrors, meaning that everything outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So the more a person is outwardly judgy, they're most likely internally judging themselves. They have just as much noise inside their own head about themselves as other people. But also a rule of the subconscious mind is that it doesn't know, it thinks everything is you. It's very egocentric. So when you're talking bad about somebody and not happy for their success, you're not happy for yourself or your own success. Like you're blocking it. Your subconscious mind can't bring it to you because it thinks you're talking about you. When you're like, oh, who does she think she is? I can't believe she got that. Or they went where and did what, and you block yourself, and then you reprogram your subconscious mind to keep repeating that same pattern.
Yeah.
And then you get more to judge. There then comes a law of attraction where you get more stuff to be judgy about. And then you think that that's just the way life is. Yeah. And it's really just a set of unconscious rules and laws that nobody can see.
Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of the times too, when you shift that, things just manifest like you're just like, wait, hang on. How did this happen? One story in particular, you can finish telling the story, but I'll start it. You saw someone say, I really like those shoes. So you know what? I'm going to fly to Italy and I'm going to get a pair of those shoes. You saw that and you were excited for her. You didn't judge her. You were excited for her. Share what happened next.
That is so funny. I forgot about that. I got to write that down in this journal thing that I have. So we were in Italy, and the night before we went to Capri, this friend of mine sends me this girl who lives in Italy, her sandals from Capri, which, by the way, the Capri pants that go around the calves, those are Capri, like Capri, Italy. And they made them like that because Sophia Loren and I want to say like Jackie Kennedy, they love these sandals and they wanted to show off their sandals. So that's where the Capri pant was born.
I love that.
That's a cool story. So I was like, wow, that's so neat. And she just had a really fun video and I liked it. And that was it. I didn't think about anything. So we get to Capri and we go to this shoe store and I'm like, oh, I wanted like the one that she went to. And it's the first one we saw. And so I'm like, I don't know. And I'm talking to Travis. I'm like, maybe let's look around and maybe there's another custom sandal store on this island. Right. But then the woman came out and I go, oh, are you the woman from the video? And I like got out the Instagram video picture. She's like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, oh, that's so great. And I was like, I want some shoes. And as a generator or Libra, I'm not just decisive. And they were like, pick something. Like they have hundreds of designs. I was like, I want these ones, the ones that this girl bought. Like, just give me those. I don't need to. And actually, now that I'm telling the story, I'm like, oh, I wasn't muddying up my energetic field with I was just in the flow of like, I just like these, so just give me these. Like, let's keep this moving. So they make them for me. We go up the hill to Capri Town. We come back down, and I'm walking past, and the girl from the video is there with a tour. And I go, you're the girl from Instagram. I go, I'm here because of you. And I like pulled it out. She goes, oh, that's so great. And we took our picture together. And I thought, how did I do that? How did that just happen? I've been to like LA where other people that I love very much, teachers of mine, live. So it's like when you saw James Wedmore in Arizona, you know, like, so, and I wanted so bad, like, how could I just, maybe I know they live in this neighborhood and I could try to like make it happen. And you're out of the flow when you're doing that.
Yep.
That dumb luck of like, I wasn't trying and then it happened. And that happened one other time where I watched this like Hallmark movie a few years ago. And it was this like high powered businesswoman who got sentenced to like do Girl Scout duty, where she had to like, did you see that?
I love that movie. Yes.
Oh, cookies.
Yes. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Smart Cookies.
Oh, Smart. Okay.
It's called Smart Cookies. And I just thought it was so cute. And I thought, oh, I would love to like lead a Girl Scout group. And then I just thought, you don't have kids. It would be fun, but you're not going to be invested for the long haul unless like you have some skin in the game. So it's like, that'd be cool, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
Go to Tony Robbins UPW event. And while I'm there and doing all kinds of energetic things, a friend of mine from high school messaged me and said, hey, I'm a Girl Scout mentor and I like the things that you're doing and what you're about. And would you ever come talk to our girls about self-love? I was doing more self-love, self-worth things back then. And I was like, yeah, I would love to. And then I thought, this is because I saw that movie, a desire got put in my heart, and then I just let it go. I didn't even think about it. I didn't try to manifest it. I was just like, oh, that would be so cool, but you really aren't committed. It wasn't like you can't, but it was just like, it probably won't work out. I know my limits and I'm not going to commit to that. And I don't have to, like the universe found this way where I could just come in for a meeting twice a year and share with them what I want to share. And then that's it.
I love that.
Those are my two biggest, like, I really wanted that, or I didn't know that I wanted to meet that girl, but like, it was such a fun thing. And it's like, wow, when you surrender and you're not all like trying to figure out how, and that was the second thing I was going to say. So it's the fear of judgment blocks people, but also the how, trying to just figure out how it's going to happen.
Yep. I love that.
Not the job. You got to save your energy for other things.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, and that's just the thing too, is that, do you trust yourself? Like, because that question like floored me. I first heard that question when I was in marriage counseling actually towards the end of my first marriage. The, therapist said, do you trust that if this marriage doesn't work out, that you're going to be okay? And I couldn't answer that question. I was shocked because I was a mom of two. I did natural childbirth with one of them. I'm a graduate of Marine Corps boot camp. I finished, I'm like, yay. So if anybody can like make boot camp, like, hello. So I had accomplished all these things in my life, but then I realized I didn't know if I could trust myself. And I was like, oh snap. Like, and I was, like I said, I was just shocked. And I was like, oh my God. And I know that part of manifesting is trusting yourself, that whether it comes in the way you want it or not at all, or in a completely arbitrary way, do you trust that you're going to be okay in any of those scenarios? And that's just the thing, is that I think a lot of people need to ask themselves, do I trust I'm going to be okay with or without this thing? And people tie so much significance to certain things. I know I have in the past, and I'm still working on that. Like if I see something come in and I attach to it, I'm like, I got to release this because this might not be for my highest good. This might be something that I think I want, but then in reality, I don't need it, So that trust is just huge, 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 huge.
Yeah. And what people forget is like the trust doesn't even start until it looks like it's not going to happen.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just things going your way. Oh, I trust, but I'm getting everything I want. Like the trust and faith it doesn't even start until everything sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of like for you on that phone call, you're like
Yes.
26,000. You're like, no, lower it. And then you held that faith, you held that vision, and you held that trust because you had tools. You like, all right, I've got my process. I'm working it. Let's do this. So share with us a little bit about your Wealthy Woman Manifesting like course and program, because that I'm so excited to share this with people because it's just, you're so epic.
Oh, thank you. It's called Worthy and Wealthy, and it's getting a little makeover because she's expanding. It's been a 4-week course, and I think I'm going to grow it to 6 weeks.
Nice.
We do RRT to help the unconscious mind process all of those blips and fears and or maybe it's conscious anxieties and all of that. Generally about money, money problems, fear. Like one of my first things was like, I used to be afraid to just look at my bank account and even open it up. And I just had resistance to that, and it's totally gone. So they get the 7-step process, some one-on-one sessions. So that you get like the more intimate support, the group aspect of it, the Facebook group, and then all the like I said, I'm an open book. So, and I love to teach this. It's what I've always wanted to do. And actually I've manifested being a manifestation coach.
Oh, nice.
That's another story for another podcast, maybe, but, that's what I love to do. And so that's what it is. So I think it's going to be about 6 weeks, and the 3rd round starts, in January.
Oh, perfect timing. Oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah. I used to want to like start at first of the year, like January 3rd, we're off to the races. But now when I know more about the nervous system, it's like, settle down.
Yes.
Slow your roll. We have time.
I love it. Let's talk real quick as we wrap up about kind of that rush and that feeling of that time pressure when people are manifesting. So what would you share with someone who is trying to manifest something right now and who does feel that time pressure? Like, what would you share with them to help them with that?
Well, I wonder, like, is it a real time pressure, or is it just like an arbitrary time limit that you came up with?
Yeah.
And if it's that, then like, let that go.
Right.
Yeah. But if you really need something like, I need X amount of money for a lawyer and it has to be paid on this day, or for my rent or whatever.
Right.
Stop asking the universe, and please bring it to me. And how is this going to work out? And start thanking. Thank you for my rent being paid. Thank you for the lawyer being paid off. I'm so grateful that this got easily paid off. I don't even know how it happened. It just happened. And you tell that story, not the story of how is it going to work and tell the story of how it's working out, and be like, trick yourself into thinking that it's really happening. Your brain this unconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imaginary. So if you imagine it being paid to the point where you're so grateful that it will, and by the way, hasn't it always?
Yes.
Hasn't it always?
Yes. Well, our brain has what's called the reticular activating system, or the RAS, and it's our filter. So we, at any given moment, every second, we have over 11 million pieces of information coming at us in all of our senses. So this shirt on my skin, this ring on my finger, the temperature, the sweat in my armpits, my feet on the floor, all the things. And our brain can only process like so much. And so typically we get about 40 to 60 pieces of information per second. So we're filtering out like 10 million, blah, 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 whatever, every single second. And so what you focus on grows. What you set your intention on, you're going to get more of, because your brain will filter out what you deem important. And so by focusing on that time limit, what's going to happen is, okay, that time limit is going to just keep feeling bigger and bigger and bigger and more time pressure. And oh my gosh, this is great. And you're just like, oh, and you're like, oh, you can't sleep and you can't eat, or you're eating too much. It's a freaking shit show. But then if you go, oh my God, I'm so grateful and thankful that the most serendipitous thing happened that I couldn't even imagine. And my rent got paid 3 days early. Like, what the hell? How does this even happen? I don't even know, but I'm glad. And you go on that little riff. And then what happens is your reticular activating system and your intuition, everything starts to line up to filter and start to see opportunities and ways of this stuff coming in. And when you start even saying that, I'm so grateful and thankful now that my rent is paid, just saying it, even if it's not true yet, your nervous system starts to relax, and then you can start to be more in flow instead of just a freaking nervous wreck. And that's one of the things that Gina also offers in this program is the RRT, which helps to regulate your nervous system and just get rid of that squirrel brain, which is much needed for people like myself. And just allows you to just relax a little bit and just, start trusting. And I love that.
Yeah, it really is transformational, that RRT.
I love it.
And that we met that way.
I know. I love it. Okay. So share with us how people can get a hold of you, how they can find you, all the links, all the things.
I am on Instagram at your.manifestationcoach. Well, it's your.manifestation.coach.
Okay.
And I actually have the ladder experiment on there as a game. I've got 3 different manifestation games you can play if you want to check that out. Get on the wait list for Worthy and Wealthy, and just get to manifesting whatever it is that you want in 2023, because you can have it. There's nothing saying that you can't. And just, I believe in you, and I want you to believe in you.
Yeah. So I love it. Yay. Thank you. Well, and Gina holds such an amazing space for people. And I encourage all of you to sign up because she's just so incredible. So thank you so much, Gina, for having this conversation with all of us. Yay.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Yes. And I look forward to having you on again so you can share that story of how you went from massage therapist to manifestation coach. Woo!
I love that.
I love it. Yay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening or watching to today's podcast. All links mentioned are in the show notes below. I love you all. Thank you so much. Bye. If you've been loving these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you would rate this podcast on iTunes. A 5-star rating is what I always aim for.